What's up, meatbags? This is the often imitated, never duplicated Tony TGD, and you're watching Is It That Bad? The only show that discusses the worst rated games and finds out if they really are as bad as the critics have claimed they are. Now, today we're going to be looking at something that is truly bad because it's been rated twos, ones, zeros. Some people say it's the worst game of all time. I'm talking Rambo the video game. That's right, we're going to be taking a look at Rambo. We're going to find out, is it that bad? Rambo the video game was released in February 2014 in Europe with an American release a couple months later. It cost $40 at launch. Myself, I paid $60 to get it, brand new European version, just a couple days ago. Now, Giant Bomb nominated this for one of the worst games of 2014. In fact, right now it currently has a 23 critic score on Metacritic and a 1.8 user score. That's how bad this game was reviewed. Now, you did get a bonus in Europe. That's right, you can get one of two exclusive Rambo figurines if you pre-ordered it in your European retailer. So, I mean, there was that. Now, I believe some of the backlash to the Rambo video game has to do with the trailers and the way the game was presented to the general public. It made it seem like it was a first-person shooter, when in fact it's an on-rails, classic arcade-type shooter. You know, think House of the Dead, Time Cop, games like that, Area 51. Now, there was also QTE segments of the game, which a lot of people hated them. They hate QTEs. That's really something that's never been implemented in games quite right. However, my opinion, Rambo the video game, the QTEs here were done pretty well. Some of them were used in order to show classic scenes of the movies. Some of them were actually used in a way that makes Rambo a little bit nuanced, and we'll get to that later on. Now, Rambo the video game covers the first three Rambo movies. Obviously, Rambo 4, Rambo 5 didn't even exist when this game came out. Now, it does take some liberties with the story, changes a few things, and adds a overall narrative of an officer sort of giving a eulogy to Rambo. It kind of explains how Rambo gets to Rambo 3, right? So the overall narrative is that this officer is telling you the story of Rambo. He's burying him. You know, the first movie, the second movie are told as if a flashback. The third movie being the current day, what's going on, what's happening with Rambo. In this game's version of events, Rambo has faked his death in order to go to Afghanistan to rescue Colonel Troutman. Obviously, this is very different from the movies, but this is the narrative the game has went with. Now, Rambo the video game does not use any voice actors from the original movies. However, they were able to get a hold of the original audio tapes for both Sylvester Stallone and Colonel Troutman's actor, Creechman, and they mix those in with original audio. So the audio is all over the place. You're going to get audio from the original movie mixed together with audio from a recording studio, and it just sounds terrible. It does not work. You get audio levels going all over the place. Some of the audio from the movie isn't really legible or audible, however you want to say it. So it really gets kind of confusing. So it was a wasted effort, in my opinion. The audio that they used for Sylvester Stallone at the end of the levels, the audio they used for Troutman when you die and he's screaming John, those were pretty decent. Everything else used in cutscenes where they mix the two together, where they mix the new audio with the movie audio, does not work. Now, besides being an on-rail shooter, there are some other mechanics in the game. There's perks. There's a leveling system that allows you to pick new skills. There is obviously a score mechanic. The faster you kill enemies, the higher your score gets. So there are some replayability in the game. There's some mix and match with your skills and your other perks. You know, it helps you differentiate the gameplay, lets you do little things your way. So that is a neat little thing that the game has. In May of 2014, they did introduce a free patch that improved some of the bugs in the game. It added extra levels to Rambo's level cap. It added a new difficulty, John Rambo mode. It added 5 new perks. That is still available if you get the game now. If you buy it on Steam, if you get a Xbox 360 or a PS3 version of the game on disc. So you can still get those. Now there was an additional DLC called the Baker's Team, which featured a prequel storyline for John Rambo's 3 extra missions, 5 extra weapons, and then obviously the perks, the level cap, and the difficulty from the previous patch. That's not available. Apparently it was available at one point as downloadable content on both Xbox, PS3. Also the Steam version I think has it already in it. However, people who have bought it says it does not work with the disc, even when they bought it back in 2014. I did try to contact both the developers, Teon and Reef Entertainment. I have not gotten any word back from either one of them about whether or not there's any way to actually get that DLC currently, or if you have it, to make it work with your disc version of the game. Now, some people did report that in 2014, when they had the patches worked, and then in 2016 when the DLC came out, they were able to get it for a very small window with the digital version. However, the disc version again did not work with the DLC, which is unfortunate. 3 extra missions, it was free, it would have been nice. As I said, the developers did take certain liberties with the game. They took certain liberties with the storyline. However, there were moments that they tried to recreate from the movies in almost a one-to-one basis.
See, he's got a screw loose?
Can't you see I don't give a damn? Shave him dry.
Hold still. You don't want your throat slit, do you?
As I said, due to the cinematography of the movie, and the game being a first-person perspective, some of the scenes were slightly different. We didn't see Sheriff Teasel, for example, coming down the stairs before getting kicked by Rambo. We just saw from Rambo's perspective. So things are slightly different, but they're trying to be as close to the movie as possible, which is really good, in my opinion. Now, as you can see, there are different things available in the game. You got story mode, which is obviously the main story mode of the game. It goes through all 3 Rambo movies with that narrative wrapped around it. You got mission select, allows you to select specific missions so you can retry them for higher scores. Troutman challenges, which are challenges for specific missions to complete them in a certain way, whether it is to get all headshots or get a certain amount of headshots, a certain amount of disarms. Those unlock new guns, new weapons that you can use. Each mission allows you a primary weapon, which is dictated by the game, but then you also have a secondary weapon, which you could pick for yourself. So if you like handguns, additionally, you have extra gear, which is your grenades, your exploding arrowheads. So there is a variety of weapons, a variety of things you can do in the game to give you a unique little twist on it, what you want, how you want to play. As stated before, there are 4 difficulties. You can change them at any time. If you fail a mission on a specific difficulty, you are given the option to lower the difficulty. You don't have to back out go to the main menu to do that. So that is a nice little change from the norm. Then, as I said, with the perk system, you can build your Rambo the way you want him. As you can see, there's different levels of skills. You got toughness, light weapons, heavy weapons, special equipment, and wrath. Wrath is a special Rambo move. It's a special bar that fills up. He gets angry. He starts shooting people. The game slows down. The more people you kill, the more health you recover. So if you're someone who's struggling with health, you're not able to kill the enemies before they do damage to you, you might want to focus on wrath or toughness, which gives you more health off the bat. Light weapons obviously helps you get better light weapons, increases their ammo, increases their damage. Heavy weapons does that for the heavy weapons, and special equipment allows you to carry more grenades, more arrowheads, etc., etc. Now, as you can see, there are 3 perks that I currently have right now. You're only allowed 1 perk at the beginning at level 5, then you can go 2 perks at level 10. You're allowed all 3 perks. So you do have to put a little time in the game to fully unlock all of Rambo's abilities and perks. Rambo also features leaderboards. There are leaderboards. They're still active. You can still get on them. So if you're interested in the game, you're interested in trying to top them leaderboards, they're still there, and you can still go ahead and put in the work. Now, the first mission in Rambo the video game is a prologue to the movies. It's when Rambo was captured in Vietnam. It shows his daring escape. As you can see, I only got 1 star. It's a little tough, even for the first level. But the second level here, Chapter 1, Jailbreak USA, Hopetown, this is where the movie kicks off. This is where the storyline kicks off. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to play the opening cinematic. You're going to watch it. You're going to see if you can tell when the audio changes from recorded by the game developers versus from the movie. Also note that you can't skip cinematics right away. You have to wait until it loads up. I mean, it is an older game, and every time you play the chapters, the cinematics will play, and you're going to have to wait for that. So if you're not into waiting, if you don't like loading times, this game is not going to be for you.
In Vietnam, Rambo was a hero. But when he came home, the world didn't agree. To them, he was part of a war they didn't want, and so they didn't want
A
him.
little knife in the
He went
lower
looking
left
for
corner,
Staff
that
Sergeant
indicates
Barry
when you're
up
allowed
in Hope,
to go ahead and
Washington.
skip the cutscene.
But Barry was long dead. Cancer, aging.
It's gone. Cutscene's
Got
fully
himself
loaded.
killed
Game's
in
ready.
Vietnam. Didn't even know it. So Rambo had no one. He needed a friend, but instead he got a local sheriff who hounded him, arrested him, and treated him like a vagrant.
Hey, looking like that? Carrying that flag on your jacket that way. Trouble's gonna come your way fast around here, son. Jump in the cruiser, I'll give you a lift. I'll take you a few miles up the road. There's a truck stop there, you can eat some.
So you log doing something here?
Me, I'm stopping. We don't need people like you in our town.
Those cops in Hope, Washington.
Now, in the movie, Brian
Pushed
Denny,
him.
he plays the sheriff. Obviously,
So
they didn't even
pushed
model
back.
the sheriff after.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
It's just some generic
Hands
model.
on the car, I said.
Speaking
You're
of the
under
models in
arrest,
games,
son.
all the enemies have the same models. You're going to be seeing the same faces over and over again. Now, one of the biggest complaints in this game is the way the controllers work. They say it's not very responsive. It's all over the place. That's true on the default settings. I agree with that 100%. But if you go, put your sensitivity down to around 25, take off the aiming help, take off the vibration, it's a lot better. It's a lot more playable. You're not going to have the jerkiness that you have on normal sensitivity. You're not going to have the game trying to take you to a certain direction because of the quote-unquote aiming help. You're going to be able to get headshots this way. You're going to be able to get disarms. The game is going to be a lot smoother, a lot better to play. Take that sensitivity down to around 25. Now, this is a lot of setup to actually get to the point where I'm going to discuss how the game plays. Well, there's a few more things we have to go over before I show you some gameplay footage from the game. Now, as you can see, I got the game paused. You can pause it at any time, which is fantastic. You can restart the level. You got options. You can change your controller setting. Now, in the main game, you have to reload your weapon with a little wheel mini game. If you get it wrong completely, then you're going to jam your gun. You're going to get less ammo. If If you get it right, you're going to get normal amount of ammo, gun's going to load at normal amount of speed. Now there's a small area that allows you to get a super reload, gives you extra ammo, reloads it faster. That's what you're aiming for. That's going to help you rack up those kills. Now there is a mechanic in the game where you can hide behind certain objects during certain points of the game. Now this does not mean just stay there and you're free from enemies. No. You can still get shot from cover. The cover system is not a cover and hide until you're ready to play. No, it's a cover system that actually functions like it would in the real world. So as you hide and cover, there's certain parts of the screen that are still visible. You can shoot from cover to kill enemies that are visible to you, and they can shoot you because you're visible to them. So don't just think that you're going to hide and reload and just wait. Additionally, like I said, there is that raft system that you can use to get your health back. There's a few perks that allow you to get more health with the raft. There's a perk that allows you to get health with headshots. Another thing the game doesn't actually explicitly tell you is that there are destructible items. You get bonus points for shooting things such as trucks. There's exploding barrels. You can shoot different buildings. Sometimes there's enemies hiding behind wooden parts of the building. You can shoot through them. The game does not tell you that, but it does exist. Sometimes the cover you're hiding behind is made out of wood. It might be a wooden crate, box or something. They can break it, and you can shoot through it and break it yourself. So there is more to the game than just shooting enemies wildly.
Listen, man, the chopper's coming. We just need to stay alive. Good shooting. Let go! Ah, hell, man. Charlie's got serious firepower. Cover to cover. Just like old times, huh?
Chopper coming for you guys, but it's gonna get messy. You guys need to crash that party. something good to do with this.
Keep the pressure on, John!
Now, I did say that the QTEs were a pain in the ass for the most part in most games. And in this game, it's no exception, with a few exceptions. I know, sounds weird. There's a scene in the movie, if you remember the first Rambo, First Blood, where he's being chased in the forest by the sheriff, the local cops, and he subdues each and every one of the pursuers and then holds a knife to Tiesel's neck, tells him to let it go. Now, originally in the book, First Blood, Rambo kills a bunch of people. He goes through, just starts slaughtering all these local cops, the people chasing him. The movie doesn't. Now, the game has a segment that mirrors this. Now, if you successfully get a perfect in all the QTEs, you don't kill anybody. You act it out like the movie. However, if you get anything other than a perfect, but not a failing grade, obviously, if you fail the QTEs, Rambo gets beat up, gets arrested, whatever. But if you pass the QTE, but not perfect, then Rambo kills people. So if you want to be Rambo, if you want to be Rambo from the movie, you got to get perfect. You got to do the extra work. It's a little bit harder to not kill everybody, just like real life. But what would have been really easy for Rambo, just to go around knifing everybody in the woods, it's represented in the game. It's real easy. So you could reenact the book, or you could reenact the movie. It all depends on how well you play the game.
He's a Green Beret. The man has a Congressional Medal of Honor. He's a damn war hero. Green Berets are lethal. We gotta be careful.
Singleton, where are you? Talk to me!
I could have killed them all. I could have killed you. I'm telling you the law. I'll give it to me. Don't push it. Don't push it, I'll give you a war you won't believe. Let it go. Let it go.
So we've looked at the gameplay, we've looked at the history of Rambo, we talked a little bit about what went into the game, what were extras, how much it cost. Now the question is it that bad? Is it truly a 28 on Metacritic, a 1.8 user score? And in my opinion, the answer is no. Rambo the video game is not perfect. It's not a masterpiece, far from it. It has terrible audio in the cutscenes. The graphics look like a PS1, possibly PS2 game, despite being a PS3 game. It's on rails. It has lots of QTE sections that I know a lot of people are not going to like. The gameplay can be stiff at times. You got to really play with your settings to get it just where you want it. but when it works, Rambo the video game works really well. Now, one of the things I didn't mention, I didn't show, is that the game has a tendency to crash. I only experienced it once, but I've seen other people say they got multiple crashes in their playthroughs, so that's something to keep in mind. But for me, I only experienced one crash in the entirety of my gameplay with Rambo the video game. It's, in my opinion, a solid 5, 5.5. No way is it as bad as people say it is. No way is it as bad as people want to make it out to be. Not a great game. Not a fantastic game. Decent game. Good fun. There is a co-op mode. I didn't really discuss that. So you can get 2 people playing, but you still only have one Rambo on the screen. You just have 2 crosshairs. I wouldn't drag anybody to play this game with me. This is something stupid to play when you got nothing else to play, and if you can pick it up cheap. Obviously, I don't recommend you buying it new like I did, $60. It's kind of a waste of money, in my opinion. But again, it's not that bad, and that's the question that we're really looking to ask. We're not looking to ask if this was worth the money. We're not looking to ask if this is game of the year. We're just looking to ask, is it that bad? Rambo the video game, not that bad.